light in your life? Are you soaring in the joy around you? Are you stuck and unable to make life happen? Stay tuned for the Rabbi Jenny Show, where you will learn how to bask in the light and find more joy and meaning in life. Call to talk to Rabbi Jenny at 888-565-1470 and email questions and comments at rabbijenny.com. And now, if you're ready, stay tuned for the Rabbi who will light your world on fire, Rabbi Jenny.
Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. It's Rabbi Jenny. Welcome to the show. This is a very exciting day. It happens to be Earth Day, April 22nd. It also happens to be the day before Israel's Independence Day, which is exciting and leads into our topic. I have a reminder for you to check in live on Rabbi Jenny TV at rabbijenny.tv, and you can watch the show live, and you can also watch old episodes and check out the store. Both my books are on the site, so check it out. Let us know what you think. And we're going to get to the topics today because I'm really excited. As you know, Rabbi Jenny show has two main ideas that we bring in at the beginning of every show, and they lead in through the discussion, and I never, ever, ever want you to forget them. It's very, very important to me, and I want you to hear me that you never forget these two things. And the first one is that the world is happening for you and not to you. It is actually conspiring on your behalf because of the second idea, that you are divine light and love. It's actually a little piece of the divine, and it lives inside you, and its whole purpose on this planet is to shine and unite with all the other points of light so we can create tikkun olam and we can heal the planet. My topic today is an independent state of mind, and it came inspired by the state of Israel's Independence Day tomorrow, but it also came very suddenly to me, of course, the evening of last week's show, because usually when I leave the studio on Wednesday, like 5 minutes later, something happens and I go, oh my God, I have to tell the listeners about this. I have to talk about this topic. This is the next inspiration. And what we're going to talk about is apologizing, and apologizing too much, and saying you're sorry too much. It's something that has irked me and bothered me. It is something that I've noticed that people do a lot, and I'm going to tell you the story. So I was going to a church. I had a meeting to go to there, and I walked in the bathroom of this church on that evening. And as I walked in the bathroom, the stall opened, and a woman walked out, and she looked at me and said, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I said, "Why? For going to the bathroom?" And she was like, "Well, I don't know why I'm sorry." And I went, "Okay, well, you know," and then I went back to this meeting I was at, and a woman sitting next to me lifted up her purse, didn't hit me or anything. She was just sitting next to me. I looked at her and she said, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I said, "For what? For lifting up your purse? For using the restroom?" And then I was at work the very next day, and I know this woman I work with is listening, but I was at work with this woman, and I was walking through a doorway, and this woman was literally just walking the other way. There was room for both of us in the doorway, and she looked at me and said, "I'm sorry," when we were walking through at the same time. And I thought, what is this about? Why are we women apologizing so much for stuff we don't even do wrong? What is this about? And I started to do research and talk about, this is actually a phenomenon. There's also studies done. There's one I found at the University of Waterloo in Canada where they found out that women grossly overrank men in apologizing. And we're usually raised to apologize in order to keep the peace. The problem is that when we say sorry for things that we do or don't do, like things that we do that are legitimate, things that we do that empower ourselves, we actually undermine our own self-worth. There's a woman in my staff meeting at work, and every once in a while we're talking about a client, and everybody has very strong opinions. And I think the worst thing that you can do when you're giving your opinion of something is to say, "I'm sorry to do this, but I have to say this." Because what you do when you say that is you're already disempowering the words that you're given. You're disempowering your actions. We cannot be independent people. Remember that the topic is an independent state of mind. If we start apologizing for who we are, that means we're reacting to the world. We're not acting. We're dependent on everyone around us. Why would we do this? Why would we apologize for nothing? Are we avoiding conflict? Are we trying to keep the peace? Are we trying to stay safe? Or are we just trained to do this? I don't even understand what that's about. But what I have to tell you is it's something that has bothered me for a long, long time. So I wanted to talk to you about it because I've noticed that the sun doesn't apologize for shining and birds don't apologize for singing. And thank God, because we need the sun to shine. Everyone needs a little light and everybody needs a little song. So why are we apologizing for just being? For just being true to ourselves, for just moving, for walking, for using the restroom, for saying our opinion, for being empowered. These are things that I want you, my listeners, to pay attention to. I want you to start counting every time you say you're sorry. Some of my girlfriends know that I always say to them when they say I'm sorry, I always say, you got to give me $1. Like if we started a sorry club, we'd actually be rich because everybody apologizes all day long. It's really a phenomenon, and it's a phenomenon that undermines our own empowerment and keeps us from being independent, powerful lights of God. And that is what the show is about, independent state of mind. What is independence? What does it mean to be independent? To be independent means to be free from influence, free from control of anyone else. And when you are independent, you are not acting because someone else is acting. You are not acting to avoid someone else's action. You are actually just acting because you're being true to yourself and what your soul is driving you to do. And that is the aim. And tomorrow is the Israeli Independence Day. And no country sort of demonstrates this kind of precarious position of independence and then Israel. I mean, I didn't really expect to do this, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about this state of Israel. It's kind of weird. Okay, I'm going to let it all hang out. And the state of Israel is 1% of the Middle East. That's really teeny, teeny, tiny. And they're actually surrounded by people who aren't so happy to have them around. But the thing about this little teeny, tiny country is they don't react. They act. And I'm not talking about military action. I'm talking about amazing facts from this teeny tiny country. And tomorrow is Earth Day, so this is my favorite Israel fact, and we're going to give little Israeli gems throughout the show. And the first gem is that Israel is the only country to enter the 21st century with a net gain of trees. That means they are the only country on the whole planet that has more trees than they used to have. Did they let the desert stop them? No. They plant trees. If you're a little Jewish child, you know that every year in Tu B'Shvat, you plant trees. You plant them to honor people, and you're planting them. So it's completely in alignment with Earth Day, but also with the idea of independence, because you're not letting anything stop you from creating. You're not reacting to your surroundings and telling yourself that you can't do this, telling yourself you're too small, that you have to worry about what everybody's going to think. No, you just plant trees. You just create new things. And I was thinking about this idea of an independent state of mind, and I was thinking about why we would apologize too much, and what are we doing when we're apologizing all day long? And I think it's like being defensive. I think it's like being constantly on the defense. And my dad, who passed away recently, I knew he was going to come up in the show. He was a huge basketball fan. In fact, our whole family was Celtics fans, and if you're a listener and you're not, I apologize, but last night when I was thinking, I just apologized. Oh, my God, I just apologized. I'm like looking at my guys going, I cannot believe it. Guess what? I love the Celtics. I refuse to apologize. And so I'm watching this Celtics game, and I'm thinking about this idea of what would happen if you always lived on the defense. Because when we apologize, we're essentially undermining ourselves all day long. We're telling ourselves that what we do, the actions we take, always have to be in reaction to someone else. I equate it to a pinball machine. Are you going to be the pinball inside the pinball machine, or are you going to be the person controlling the flippers? Which one would you rather be? Me, I'd rather be controlling the flippers. I don't want to bang around while someone else decides where I go. Okay? But when you're on the defense, you're actually reacting to the world around you all the time. So apologizing or saying you're sorry before anything happens, or if nothing ever happens, or if anything ever happens, or anticipating anything ever happens, you're constantly on the defense. Now, any sports fan knows that defense is really important. In fact, you can get in a huge debate in saying that defense is more important than offense when it comes to basketball or any other sport. But the truth is, they're both important. They're both important. We must be balanced. To be independent, we must know when to be offensive and when to be defensive. So I was watching the game last night. It was game 2 of the playoffs, and the Celtics did not win. But I was watching with this idea of what would happen if the team was just 100% defensive the whole time. Well, nothing would happen because they wouldn't shoot any points. You must shoot and get the ball in the basket to do anything. You must do that. I mean, unless you're hockey and you can settle for the, nobody scores and nothing happens. And then I don't even know if you're a sports fan what that is. But in basketball, you need balls in the basket. So I was thinking, we cannot live our entire life on the defense. We cannot live our entire life disempowered. It's actually against Torah. It's actually against the idea of being a fully empowered light of God. We must have pride in who we are, in addition to the humility to know when we do something wrong. But if we apologize for nothing, or if we apologize when you do something wrong, then we're actually grossly leaning on our humility and not standing in self-esteem and not standing in our power. And when you're not in your power, when you're not fully balanced, when you're not full shooting in the hoop, and you're not defending, you're not going to get anything done. You're not going to create anything. And I'm telling you, listeners, you have the capacity to create anything that you can imagine. I mean, within reason. Because my son, I can hear my 12-year-old son saying, Mom, hover cars are a few years from now, but I can imagine them. What I'm saying is that if it's in your heart, it's in your dreams, if it's something that you can think of, it is something, how about just love? I'm sitting here thinking about how about just a bigger capacity to love, not others, self, the world, to sense the feelings inside of you. If you are busy apologizing for the desire to want to do that, you will never do that. If you are busy saying sorry for what you think and what you feel and what you do and every action that you take, you will never take a genuine action. You will never move genuinely. You will constantly remain dependent and not independent. The dependent person is subordinate. The dependent person is less than. The dependent person tells you that it depends on you to exist. If you walk through a door, the same door that you need to go through to get the other way, and someone else is walking through the same door to get where they need to go, and you say you're sorry, you're saying where you need to go is less important. You're saying, I'm sorry I had to go. And that is not okay, listeners. We have got to stop this apologizing. We have got to stand in our power and be independent. We have to be strong in who we are and celebrate our own gifts in this journey. This is so important in life. I have to tell you that I was watching this show before we go to break, and I was watching this, it was a documentary on Scientology. And, everything that happens to me from Wednesday to Wednesday, guys, I need to bring to you and talk to you about because that's what doing a show is about. And I'm watching this show about Scientology, not going to judge Scientology at all. But what occurred in this Scientology was that some of the followers were being hurt by the leaders. They were being hurt. But this was after many, many years of being around the people that they were around. And when they were being hurt, their instinct was to say they were sorry for nothing. Their instinct wasn't to leave or run away. Their instinct was to stay and say, what did I do wrong? So sometimes if you're sitting in a room and somebody looks at you funny, you might say, I'm sorry, but you did nothing wrong. Where does that human instinct come from? Does it come from that desire to keep the peace, to avoid conflict, to avoid struggle? At what point do we keep the peace? At what point do we sacrifice our own value? At what point? And I'm pausing because I'm thinking to myself, at what point? At what point do we stop saying we're sorry and shine? And absolutely shine. What would happen if everybody who got a sunburn, the sun felt guilty about and said, well, I'll turn that ray off. I'll turn that way off. I'll turn that way off. What would happen if the sun said it was sorry? We'd have no trees. We'd have no life. We'd have no vitamin D. I mean, come on. So stop saying you're sorry. We'll be right back on the Rabbi Jenny Show. Spent hours in therapy, at the spa and the gym, and still feel as if something is missing? At Walk Between the Worlds with shamanic practitioner Jennifer Sellers, you recapture lost pieces of yourself, place them within your heart, and move forward to fully actualize life. With individual sessions and group classes, with Walk Between the Worlds, you heal your mind, unite your soul, and empower your spirit. Contact walkbetweentheworlds.com today. Mention this ad on the Rabbi Jenny Show and receive 10% off your first session. Walk free and whole and true at walkbetweentheworlds.com.
This program is brought to you by the law firm of Altman, Flynn, and Kugler. We practice elder law and intellectual property, including patents, trademarks, and copyrights. If you would like to patent your idea, please contact our Fort Lauderdale office for a free consultation. Call 954-563-4814. That's 954-563-4814. Or visit us online at altmanpatent.com. That's OLTMANPATENT.com. Spokesperson, not an attorney.
Do you know someone who is currently struggling with an addiction? The struggle is over. Dream Recovery International has the answer. With a combination of highly skilled clinicians, innovative treatment modalities, and luxurious amenities, Dream Recovery International has it all. Focusing on core issues, spiritual growth, and personal empowerment, clients of Dream Recovery International leave addiction behind and move forward to fully embrace life. For more information, go to dreamrecoveryintl.com or call 855-DREAM-80. Dream Recovery International, where addiction ends and recovery begins.
You have been listening to Rabbi Jenny, who asks, are you ready to bring more light and love and joy into your life? A spiritually uplifting show that will change your world. Call in at 888-565-1470 or email at rabbijenny.com and share your thoughts with Rabbi Jenny. Now, back to our show.
Hey, it's Rabbi Jenny. Welcome back. We're talking about not apologizing for who we are, standing in our life, and creating an independent state of mind. I want to tell you why this is so important to me. And it's so important to me that you shine as bright as you want. And that is because we are stars in the same sky. And when you don't shine, my sky gets darker. And that really, really, really upsets me. Like, if you know me, you know that really kind of pisses me off. I mean, that's like not appropriate for a rabbi to say, but it does. I mean, when you are not evolving and being your complete self, it just makes me crazy. Okay, it just makes me completely crazy. So before we introduce our guest, I want to give you a couple more facts because tomorrow is Israeli Independence Day. So I have to tell you some cool things about this little teeny country that makes it really, really neat. Did you know that the glue on Israeli stamps are kosher? How cool is that? But that doesn't make them independently fabulous. What makes them independently fabulous is that they are the teeny tiniest little country, but they hold 24% of the people in their country actually hold degrees. And that makes them the third in the industrialized world. They also are, they also have the third highest rate of entrepreneurship amongst women and people over 55. So, go to Israel and start your life. That's what I'm talking about here. They developed voicemail. So, if you're like me, that's essential to your life. They also are extremely innovative with regards to antivirus software, which is really important. And in our next break, we'll tell you how much they've done for the arts, that little state of independence of Israel, the little country that we love that we're celebrating tomorrow. And I also want to tell you about this other movie that I saw called Insurgent, which is part 2 of Divergent. You know, I am like a teenager at heart, and I read all these silly 3-part books. And the character fits so much into this topic this week, because what happened was she's involved in this like revolution or something, you know. And what happens is the bad guys are trying to kill all of her people, and her parents die when defending her. And she also kills a friend of hers who goes into a trance while she's defending her people. And so neither one of those things were her fault, but she immediately says she's sorry and immediately intakes the shame of this. And her biggest block throughout the whole movie is her lack of self-forgiveness and love for nothing she did. You know, I don't even understand this human nature we have to apologize for who we are and our gifts and our shine and everything that we are as human beings. But I think our guest today is one of the most fabulous women I've ever met. She has been a gift in my life, and she is actually an independent state of mind lady who's following her dreams and shining extremely bright. So we're going to introduce the Bad Mama Jamma segment.
Jenny. Bad, 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 bad. Mama Jamma. Bad Mama Jamma.
Person never seen that.
Our guest today, everyone, is the most beautiful Dr. Susanna Simpson. She is a doctorate of poetry and creative writing, correct?
Creative writing.
Creative writing, and she is the innovative developer of Write Recovery, an amazing creative writing program that she's used at the youth center I run. She also uses it to heal addiction and trauma, and she's a published poet, an amazing poet, and she has I think some experience with apologizing. Like, what did that bring up when you were listening to the topic, Suze?
Good afternoon, Rabbi Jenny. It made me think. I was trying to remember when was the last time I apologized for anything, and I don't mean having made a mistake, but I mean for taking up space.
Right.
And I can't actually remember the last time I did that. And it's possible that because I have not been a good girl and apologized enough, I really fit into your bad mamma jamma there category. I'm not real good at apologizing. My father claims that I couldn't be told what to do after the age of 2. So there you have it.
So in what parts of your life, though, have you apologized unnecessarily for your own assertion of power or gifts?
Well, I think if we look at it loosely, like apologizing by not following my dream, I would say that the first many years of my life when I was being a nurse was a form of apologizing because it wasn't accurate. It wasn't an accurate portrayal about who I really was inside. I started as an actress and an English major, and then I ended up in nursing. And I really chafed against the business about how I couldn't put my hands in my pockets,
right?
And I couldn't whistle. There was no whistling.
No whistling being a nurse?
No whistling. And
really?
No whistling and no hands in your pockets. And so I would get written up a lot in nursing school because I was just not real good at following the rules like that, being the good girl.
Yeah. And what about in your relationships? With people? Personal?
Again, I'm trying to remember when I've actually, routinely said, I'm sorry. But I think that there have been relationships where I have behaved in that way, where I was trying to make up for not being a certain way and apologetic in my behavior, perhaps.
Well, for our listeners, give an example, because I think there are women who do that. I mean, I can remember when I went to seminary, I started laying my laundry out on the bed so my husband would see it. My ex-husband would see that I was still a good housewife.
Yes.
I wasn't like saying, I'm sorry I'm going to seminary, but I was like, but look, I still do a good job. Look, I'm sorry,
Well, I married a man who had 2 boys, and so I was helping to raise them and working full-time and going to school full-time. And yet I found it necessary to, apologize, if you will, for making sure that everything ran smoothly in the household. For some reason, I thought perhaps because I was female, I was responsible for the way the household ran. And so apologizing if I couldn't get everything done. And I think that piece, that somehow I think I have to do everything, get everything finished, accomplished, organized, lined up, that somehow that makes me fit into the model of, a good woman, a good person.
So tell us about independence. What does independence mean to you? What does freedom mean to you? Like those ideas.
Freedom, just another word for nothing left to lose. I'm just kidding. There it was. I had to do it. So independence for me means that I am able to follow my heart. I'm able to follow that light that you talked about, that it shows up and I say, oh, I want to do that. That's the next thing I want to do. And I can remember that my husband's sister said to me after I had gotten my master's degree, she said, well, do you really think you need to go ahead and get a PhD? And I thought, why is this woman asking me that question? I didn't even understand why she asked it.
Yeah.
And even my father, who was an educator, said to me, you might want to take a year off and just kind of focus on your marriage. And maybe he was right. I don't know, but I didn't. So there's independence for you.
Absolutely. But people fear change. I think that maybe some of this is like the resistance to change, because if you change, then their world changed. And everybody wants everything to stay, copacetic, like everything to stay even the way it is. But the truth is that growth and change is like the coolest thing about life. Like I was sitting, my son Sawyer, and I was sitting, he's shifting at school. He's been at the same school for a long time and he's shifting. And I was thinking this last night when I woke up when I was working on the show, I was thinking, it wouldn't be the worst thing if things changed. Like maybe it'd be the best thing that ever happened. Life is a journey, listeners. This is the beginning. If you're like, how can I exist without feeling like I'm responsible for everyone and everything? How can I let that guard down? This is the beginning of your journey. You don't even know what kind of energy will light up. I mean, did you think you were going to go back to school when you went back for your master's? Like, how did that come up?
It didn't. I didn't. I have a way of checking in with myself. And so if the door feels open, then I go through it. And if the door feels closed, then I know that's not the way for me to go. And every time I approached getting yet more education, the door felt open. And so I went through it. I didn't wake up some morning and go, oh my gosh, I wish I could get a PhD. That never occurred to me. I really wanted just to be a movie star. That was it. That was pretty much it. So, and second, after that would have been to be published. And so I got that to happen.
Right.
But it never occurred to me to get a PhD. But I have found that, aside from the fact that I have a student loan the size of, the financial picture of, I don't know, a small country, I really know that there's some societal stamp that comes with that. People assume that I know something.
Well, and it was very empowering. It was what we're talking about. You got some power. I mean, having witnessed you go do that, you left the state and would travel back and forth.
Yeah, with
getting your power.
3 dogs in the car. Yeah, back and forth 5 times, 3 dogs in the car.
So what's the name of your book?
Well, my book is called Geography of Love and Exile.
Oh, no.
And so it's a collection of poems about that, about changing geographies and changing habits, love,
Is it out? Is it out for purchase or
not yet? No, Servina Barva Press is working on it, so it should be out this year.
Okay.
So,
all right, great.
Yeah.
All right, great. Tell the listeners a little bit about Right Recovery, and then we'll have time to talk about it.
Okay. So, Right Recovery is actually the full title is Right Recovery: Our Stories Can Save Us, and what that is a collection of exercises, if you will, that lead people to find their authentic self and lead them to independence, if you will. So they are listening. It gives them techniques to listen to that voice that primarily I work with substance abuse. So this helps people hear that voice. And then that compass that's in us that gets off center when people are drinking and drugging, if they begin to listen to it, it gets stronger, it guides them, they can move forward in their lives and become independent and sort of shake loose the shackles.
Well, it's funny because sometimes we're actually, someone else is driving our car.
Correct.
It's literally like we're a passenger in our life. We've actually made all of our choices mimicking the choices dictated by our family or society or what we thought we should do or friendships or what was cool at the time or what was on TV. A lot of times there's no way of connecting. And I've actually watched Susanna, listeners, work with the kids, which were middle and high schoolers, and it wasn't, it was actually amazing to watch these kids, just use things in nature and use imagery to express themselves. And the self-esteem that happens when you do that opens the door to continue doing that. And then the voice comes alive. So that's why this is important, because the first step is to stop apologizing. The first step is to stop playing small and to try something new. And then the next thing that comes is that we break open, we break open and then we begin to grow. And, independence, I think, is a process. It's really a process. So we'll be back to talk about Right Recovery with Dr. Susanna Simpson. Thanks for listening.
Tell me that you need me, then you go and cut me down. But wait.
Spent hours in therapy, at the spa, and the gym, and still feel as if something is missing? At Walk Between the Worlds with shamanic practitioner Jennifer Sellers, you recapture lost pieces of yourself, place them within your heart, and move forward to fully actualize life. With individual sessions and group classes, with Walk Between the Worlds, you heal your mind, unite your soul, and empower your spirit. Contact walkbetweentheworlds.com today. Mention this ad on The Rabbi Jenny Show and receive 10% off your first session. Walk free and whole and true at walkbetweentheworlds.com.
Times are tough, and right now those in the commercial world know that being heard via advertisements is the name of the game. AmpSquare.tv understands how important advertisement is and is proud to express that it's truly the only plugged-in internet television production company on the market. Amp2.tv live streams all their shows across all the major selling markets in the U.S. and abroad. Call them at 866-224-5422. The AmpSquare.tv library allows productions to be seen over and over again, making commercial platforms more usable. Call 866-224-5422. Toll free 866-224-5422. Amp2.tv, the first and only internet television network that's truly plugged in. 866-224-5422. That's AMP2.TV.
Do you know someone who is currently struggling with an addiction? The struggle is over. Dream Recovery International has the answer. With a combination of highly skilled clinicians, innovative treatment modalities, and luxurious amenities, Dream Recovery International has it all. Focusing on core issues, spiritual growth, and personal empowerment, clients of Dream Recovery International leave addiction behind and move forward to fully embrace life. For more information, go to dreamrecoveryintl.com or call 855-DREAM-80. Dream Recovery International, where addiction ends and recovery begins.
You have been listening to Rabbi Jenny, who asks, are you ready to bring more light and love and joy into your life? A spiritually uplifting show that will change your world. Call in at 888-565-1470 or email at rabbijenny.com and share your thoughts with Rabbi Jenny. Now, back to our show.
Hey, it's Rabbi Jenny. Welcome back. Just a reminder to check out the show live on rabbijenny.tv. There's also a store there, and you can watch all old episodes and catch up with our lessons and topics. We are here with Dr. Susanna Simpson, and we are talking about developing an independent state of mind and not apologizing anymore, which I did at the break. I even apologized at the break. I mean, this is knee deep. You know, this is a knee deep thing in my lineage, I guess. I got to work on that when the show's over, but it really bothers me. But anyway, so we were talking about right recovery, which Susanna has developed, and I've watched her do this. And how do you tap into your authentic voice? What can the listeners do? Like, what can we give them today, Suze?
Well, I think one real easy way to do this is to sit down, get yourself a composition notebook from the dollar store and a pen, and don't treat anything as if it were too precious, because I think what happens is people buy leather-bound this and emboss that and special ink colors, and then they feel like, you know, everything they write has to be publishable, and that's not the kind of writing this is. This is writing that is meant to be reflective. When you think about it, historians and explorers and, you know, people who were independent people kept journals.
Yes.
And they tracked their feelings and their thoughts. So a really easy way to get started is to sit down and to write 3 words that describe how you feel. So you're making a distinction between thinking words and feeling words. So I feel energized.
And good and fine or not.
Yeah, they don't count.
They
not
don't
at
count.
all.
They
no.
don't count.
So
I'm good.
it could
I'm
be
good.
tired, anxious,
Numb.
Sure. So that's the first thing. Then you can choose one of the words randomly and write about it. I feel numb today because. And the important thing about this kind of writing is to push through the resistance. So I always tell people, when you get to the place where you think you've answered the essay question, as it were, just push through, because that's not it. That's the springboard. That's the diving board. what comes after that is what's really important. And that's the authentic voice, the independent part of you that doesn't really care what anybody else thinks, only cares about your well-being. That voice will speak to you if you give it a chance.
One of the things that I do in my work that we share is this idea of calling upon things in nature to evoke a response. And one of the things I tell my clients and my patients is that if you don't want to journal, if you don't want to tell me how you feel, then I want you to notice something and tell me how that makes you feel. Because then it's like one layer. So if you're like somebody out there going, I just can't imagine journaling. My sister stole my diary when I was 5 and I'm never going to write in a diary again. Or you just think it's silly. One thing that's important is to remember to connect with the world around you. So if once a day you can leave the desk and walk outside and notice the sky and say, what is the sky making me feel? If it's sunny out, it's going to make you feel different than if it's cloudy, And so to get connected with the world, to reconnect, to be a part of it, the divine light that we talk about, it's like igniting it, reminding yourself that you're light. So tell us about your use of nature, because I mean, she unpacks when she comes to do a group. She brings a house with her. And
show on the road. Yeah. Well, I have an exercise where, and it works no matter who does it. It doesn't matter if it's little kids. It doesn't matter if I've used it at senior centers. I've used it with veterans. I ask people to make a list of qualities of a certain item from nature. So, for example, a pine cone or a shell, and all they have to do is make a list. Now, anybody can make a list, so that's not very threatening.
Right.
So if you make a list and you have two things, a pine cone and a shell, let's say, and you have a list of qualities for both of them, then I ask people, so which one are you most like? And then that sometimes is a diving board they can dive off of and write about, well, I'm more like the shell because I stay inside and I close up and I have a protective covering. Or I had one guy say that he was like the pine cone because he liked to spread his seed. I said, okay, all right then. Thank you.
Oh my God. Okay.
So
you got to be. We were writing raps at work yesterday, and I had the beatbox going, and the patients were writing raps, and it was some of the filthiest things I've ever heard in my life. But I was so happy because they were expressing themselves.
Well, I have to say this guy was genuine. He wasn't trying to be provocative. He really, that was his association with the pine cone. So, we just had to move on.
And you can't waste too much time.
Yeah, no, thank you. All right, then.
Okay. Yeah. I want to know, tell the listeners a significant time in your life that you became, that you broke free.
Okay. I know exactly. I can hear it.
You can hear it.
See it. I was in a third-story apartment in Binghamton, New York. I had 3 dogs. This was in numbers. I think it was 2010 in December. It was very cold, and the teaching job that I thought that I was coming back to fell through. And if that wasn't bad enough, I had gotten intercepted an email unbeknownst to me that was sent to somebody else, and it was about me, and it was rather cruel. So I got that information, and the job fell through, and I was on this 3rd floor, and I was working, I had 4 graduate level courses, so I was really crunched. And all of a sudden I realized that there was no give and take on this. It was I had to step up to the plate. It was up to me. There was no whining on any phone call that was going to make a difference, and that it was truly, I was going to make this thing happen. And it was when I think I stepped into my full power. And I don't know, it may not be my full power, but I certainly felt like after I moved through that episode, it was kind of like, get out of my way. You just get out of my way.
Absolutely. Well, it's exactly what we were talking about. It's independence, but it's also that offense defense. Like, are you going to react to life, or are you going to act? Are you going to be the lady with the flippers or the ball in the machine? Like, you were being banged around, but you didn't listen. You're like, no. I'm going to hit the ball.
Right.
Like, this is my game.
Yep.
This is my play. So what I'm saying to the listeners, and there's a reason why I believe Dr. Susanna brought this up, is that if you're dealing with something in life and you see, no light, no door opening, but in your heart, you're following your heart, you have to keep going. You know,
Absolutely.
a message in Dr. Susanna's life, in my own life, is that your passion is the answer. Like what calls to you, your bliss. You know,
But yeah, what's the alternative?
Right.
The alternative is so hideous to stay behind closed doors and think, gosh, I wish I had fill in the blank. I'm not willing to live like that
No.
today. I want to say, okay, yeah, I tried that, check.
Yeah. I mean, why else are we here?
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody says, "Well, I don't have the freedom to do that. I have so much responsibility. I have so much weight. It's not an overnight thing, listeners. This is a process. This is we have so much in common, but both of our lives have like peeled away to where we're sitting here, laughing and teaching people that you can have your dreams. You can be in a place where you help people and create and live these fully ridiculous, joyful, silly lives.
I almost got thrown out of nursing school for whistling. And I held that resentment for a long time, and I wanted out so badly. And I envisioned a life where what I was going to be doing was writing all day long, somehow, some way.
Wow.
And guess what? Here it is. That's what I do. All day. I can get anybody to write. I don't care who you are.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. I'm thinking I want you to tell the listeners, I don't know why, but your doggies are coming up. And I want to talk about your dogs. What do they bring to you? This is such a strange topic, but Susie's got quite a tribe at home.
I have a lot of dogs. I don't know, 3 dogs. I have 3 dogs.
Oh, it's not a lot.
And they weigh a lot. 2 of them weigh a lot. So there's a lot of dog in the house. But, it's one of those places where I don't apologize. So
Right.
if people come over
Totally.
and they're not okay with the dogs, it's like, I don't know how to help you. This is my house,
These
okay?
are my dogs.
These are my dogs.
I love my dogs.
That's it. I don't know what else to tell you, So I don't apologize for the fact that I have 3 rescue dogs. I love them dearly. And if I were home and had lots of money, I'd probably have more dogs. That's the truth of it.
There's so many things that we do that we don't have to apologize for.
Yeah, I'm not going to apologize for that.
There's so many things, like loving too much, like caring too much, like laughing too much.
How about that?
Yeah, or what we eat. Like that's
Right.
why do women do? I'm sorry,
here's
but
the
I'm
si-
sorry I ate too much. I'm sorry.
How about this? How about this? Here's the sign that you're not with the right partner.
Right.
Okay? Here's the sign, or a sign. Are you going to wear that? Is that what you're wearing? Okay, that's a sign right there. You're with the wrong partner.
Oh, ladies, don't ever apologize for what you want to put on your
Yes,
body.
I'm wearing this.
Yes,
Yes,
I'm
I
going to
am.
wear this blue
Yeah,
hat to
yeah.
do my show
Yeah, exactly.
because I'm going to, I remember when I was little and I had this favorite shirt. It's so funny that this is coming up. I had this favorite shirt that I loved, and actually this looks a little bit like this schmata I have on today. And I wanted to wear it every day. And I remember it must have been like 3rd grade or something. And I would wake up and I would fight. And I would fight to wear this like hippie shirt every day. I loved it. My friends wanted to borrow it. It had little purple flowers. You never forget these things. And I remember I couldn't wear it. It was wrong. You can't wear that every day. You can't wear the same shirt every day. Your friends will know that I don't do laundry. Like, I don't even know what that's about. Like, are we worried? Like, people think are we going to smell? Like, I'm trying to figure out why we can't
Hard to
just
know.
look and do and think and usually it's about what other people think. Usually it's about what you think might be the right way to go or the wrong way to go. But I remember, it's so funny, I was thinking about that today,
There's a wonderful line from a Hafiz poem that talks about now is the time to let go of all of your ideas, your childhood ideas of right and wrong. All of your childhood ideas of right and wrong. I can remember being embarrassed that I was in a crowd of people and I was the only person, I was a little kid, and I was the only person who had a thermos with cold water in it. And I didn't see anybody else in the crowd with water, and it was hot. And I was embarrassed to take a drink because nobody else had any water.
I was a singer as a kid, and I was embarrassed because my voice was too loud.
Right.
I literally thought it was too loud. I was told, shut up. Like your singing voice is too loud for your little body, and that's really inappropriate. Like I could, help that or change that. It's very strange how we make judgments and stuff, but we do. We have to let go. We have to become independent and free. And we'll be right back with Dr. Seuss. Thanks.
I waited for your calls with your self-suggestion and driving me away.
Spent hours in therapy, at the spa, and the gym, and still feel as if something is missing? At Walk Between the Worlds with shamanic practitioner Jennifer Sellers, you recapture lost pieces of yourself, place them within your heart, and move forward to fully actualize life. With individual sessions and group classes, with Walk Between the Worlds, you heal your mind, unite your soul, and empower your spirit. Contact walkbetweentheworlds.com today. Mention this ad on the Rabbi Jenny Show and receive 10% off your first session. Walk free and whole and true at walkbetweentheworlds.com. Hey, it's Rabbi Jenny asking you, are you ready? Life can bring many challenges, and sometimes we need help finding the answers to increase our awareness and take it to the next level. So are you ready? Come join me every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. on WWNN 1470 AM, where you can hear and see me bring spirit, light, and love into your life. Are you ready? It's time to change your life, take it to the next level, and embrace the greatest that is you. Are you ready? The time is now. Wednesday, 5 to 6 p.m. on WWNN 1470. So let's get ready. Do you know someone who is currently struggling with an addiction? The struggle is over. Dream Recovery International has the answer. With a combination of highly skilled clinicians, innovative treatment modalities, and luxurious amenities, Dream Recovery International has it all. Focusing on core issues, spiritual growth, and personal empowerment, clients of Dream Recovery International leave addiction behind and move forward to fully embrace life. For more information, go to dreamrecoveryintl.com or call 855-DREAM-80. Dream Recovery International, where addiction ends and recovery begins.
You have been listening to Rabbi Jenny, who asks, are you ready to bring more light and love and joy into your life? A spiritually uplifting show that will change your world. Call in at 888-565-1470 or email at rabbijenny.com and share your thoughts with Rabbi Jenny. Now, back to our show.
Hey, it's Rabbi Jenny, and we are back with Dr. Susanna Simpson from Right Recovery, and I just wanted to announce that this is the 10th Rabbi Jenny Show.
Congratulations.
This is a big deal. This is a woohoo. So it's like Jenny's Independence Day. I don't know, whatever. And it is time, and I'd like Dr. Susanna, before she says goodbye, to sit with us for our Joy Jar Challenge. We have a caller.
Joy, 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 joy. It's Adeline Gobergstein, and it's time for the Rabbi Jenny Ridiculous Joy Jar Challenge.
Who's on the phone? Hello?
Jenny, hey.
Hey, who am I
Jamar,
talking
how are you
to?
doing today?
Who is this?
This is Jamar from the Jamar Enlightenment Center.
Hey, Jamar. How are you today? Do you know about the Joy Jar Challenge?
No, but I'm all ears.
Okay, well, at the Joy Jar Challenge, it is up to you as fast as possible. If you can name 10 things that make you ridiculously joyful, then you can plug your business and win the challenge. You think you can go? You think you got 10 things?
Yeah, 10 things. Let's do it.
Okay, ready, go.
Blue skies on a sunny day, spontaneous laughter, crystals, teaching people to love themselves, transformational breathing, having a body to experience life through, being in relationship, any kind of play, knowing the truth when I see it or feel it, hear it, and allowing God to move through me.
Wow, that was fast.
Well done.
Holy moly, you are the best Joy Jar Challenge ever, Jamar. Tell us about your business, the Jamar Enlightenment Center, and how people can reach you.
Well, we're up in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, and we have classes every day of the week, 25 workshops a month with presenters from all over the world. Our website is www.jamarcenter.com, and that's Jamar Center. And you'll find us all over the web.
Oh,
We have a
wonderful.
store that's open 7 days a week, so they can just pop in.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And what name a couple of your primary classes at your center?
Well, we have daily yoga classes. This weekend we have Deirdre Brahmi on Friday night. We have chanting on Sunday night with Prem Shakti. Sunday I'll be doing a workshop down at the Duncan Center, which is a spiritual renewal day. So Don Miguel Ruiz was here from Four Agreements a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, wow. Yes, I knew.
Farmer coming out.
Yep.
So we have a full slate of ongoing classes.
Oh, wonderful, Jamar. Thank you so much for calling in. Maybe you'll come in and be on the show.
Congrats on the 10th class.
Yeah.
That's it. 10th show, excuse me.
Okay, well, great.
That's fun.
Well, maybe you'll come on one day, okay, Jamar?
I'd love to.
Okay, my love. Have a beautiful, beautiful day full of joy.
You too.
Okay, bye-bye. Well, that was
Bye-bye.
awesome. That was
And
amazing.
fast.
That was like the fastest Joy Jar challenge.
Very fast.
So, Dr. Susanna, tell us how we can reach you and any events you want to announce that are coming up.
Certainly. www.rightrecovery, that's one word, .com. And my number is 516-661-5202. And I'm hosting a poetry reading at Barnes & Noble, Wellington, this next Tuesday. So it's April 28th at 7 p.m. So we're going to have an open mic. We have two featured poets, Judy Ireland and Susan R. Williamson. Both of them have published books, which will be there for sale.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you for being on the show,
Thank
Susanna.
you for having
will come
me.
back?
It was a pleasure.
Oh,
Absolutely.
you will come back and giggle with me a little
Absolutely.
more. Thank you, Dr. Suze. I think that's your new nickname, Dr.
Perfect.
Suze. What an amazing show today. I'm so glad to share with you today about stop apologizing and start in your journals that you're going to buy, your $1 journals from the dollar store, and make your lists of how you're feeling. And actually, I would like you to keep track of your apologies. Become aware of when you are playing small and when you are not lighting the world. Today, we are announcing some cool things about the state of Israel because it's Israeli Independence Day. And I want to tell you that they have more museums per capita than any other country, more orchestras per capita than any other country. They have published more books per capita than any other country. And they are the most independent and free Arabic press in the Middle East.
Nice.
So let me just tell you that is independent of the surroundings, and that is being on the offense and not on the defense, which is so important in life. Before we get to the Jenny Jam, I just want to remind you, and I will remind you after it, that you are absolutely fabulous, and you have to shine and you have to be bright, because it is really important for you to do that and to stand in your power, to be independent. So let's get to it. I think before we do the closing speech, let's get to the Jenny Jam. I'm excited about this one.
Jam, jam, Rabbi Jenny Jam, get your jam.
Free to shine, free to love, Independence Day, Independence Day. Shine bright, bold and true, independence what you do. Don't get lost in others' lands, put your dreams in your own hands. So busy caring about what they think, what they'll do, you're on the brink. All the time stretched, thin and low, never getting where you want to go. Free to shine, free to love, Independence Day, Independence Day. Bet you didn't know you had the power to change the world, to make you free. So busy feeling down and out, not allowed to open up and see. With every word you utter, with every word you say, you create reality and the nature of your day. So pay attention to the times you spread negativity. Stop, flip it, say something kind and transform to your divinity. Oh, free to shine, free to love, Independence Day, Independence Day. Stop saying sorry for nothing when you've done nothing wrong. No more bowing down to someone. Shine your light and sing your song. Watch your words, what you say. Catch your dreams, have your way. Time to celebrate, hooray, 'cause today is Independence Day. Free to shine, free to love, Independence Day. Independent, you wanna sing with me now? Yeah, no. Free to shine, I'm channeling Kumo D. That is what I'm doing, folks, because you know I was raised on the hip-hop of the 80s, and I love it, I love it, I love it. And today is Independence Day, because in 1 hour it will be sundown, and that is when we begin the next day in the state of Israel, and that is when Independence Day begins. So this is your day, listeners. This is your day to declare that you won't be sorry for who you are, and that you won't play small or apologize for everything that you do. You know, and I was... you know, it's funny because my dad, I feel like he should come up a little bit more today because I was sitting on the couch watching the Celtics and Isaiah Thomas, 22 points. And so I was watching the Celtics and laying on the couch and thinking about all the times that maybe I might have thought that he didn't want me to shine, and all the times that maybe he didn't get me or get what I was thinking or get what I was doing, and that now that He is in spirit now that he is somebody I talk to probably more than I did before. I'm aware that it probably didn't. You know, sometimes we make conclusions by the way somebody looks and the way somebody feels about their own selves, they're projecting it onto us, and that's not true. So pay attention to your reacting to people. You know, independence about stopping the reaction. We must act. We must be independent. You must shine, listeners. I can't get this through your head enough. You're hanging out with Rabbi Jenny. It is time to shine. It is time to spread your light. So here is where I talk to you a little bit about the sacred tree of life in Jewish mysticism before we end. Remember when I always tell you that you are a beautiful tree of light. You have beautiful sacred energy centers that really, really, really matter. They really run your car. They're what drives you through this world. And those include compassion and love, and they include victory and splendor and creation and the kingdom that is you and the power that is inside you. And it is important for you to understand that this system must be balanced. And when you're apologizing and when you're playing small, you're actually playing little. And when you play little, another side of you will overcompensate. Because it won't understand what you're doing. When you apologize for being you, you don't understand it. In fact, it makes no sense to the highest part of you because it just wants to shine. It just wants to create and grow. Remember, it's a piece of the divine light. You know, my teacher said the light of the Lord is the soul of man. He said you say that over and over again in your life. Say yes to life. Remember that you have the light of the Lord inside of you. You are divine nature. And when you deny that light, you confuse yourself. You disempower yourself, and you need to start empowering yourself. And when you get caught up and when you start worrying about yourself, you got to think of Dr. Seuss, who was on today, and you got to think of Rabbi Jenny. And you got to think, you know, if they can do it, I can do it. You know, if we can act crazy, if that chick can put on a blue hat, which means you have to go to rabbijenny.tv to see it because it's fabulous. If she can put on a blue hat and rap like a Meshuggah, then you can take a class at the gym. Or maybe watch a TV show that you want to watch tonight and not what everybody else wants to watch. Or maybe turn the TV off and read a book. Or how about eat cereal for 20 days in a row because you don't want to cook? I mean, these are really important things. I haven't cooked for years. Actually, you know, that's a true thing. I think cereal's the best invention on the planet. But that's me. You know, it's really, really important that you're true to yourself. Because this world's like a puzzle. It's like a giant puzzle, and the pieces fit together exactly as intended, in my opinion. And if you are not being yourself, you're the wrong size puzzle piece, honey, and you ain't fitting in with everyone else. So be the right puzzle piece. Be yourself so we can click in with you and create beautiful things. I adore you. Check out rabbijenny.tv. Check out Rabbi Right Recovery with Dr. Seuss, and we will see you next week. Shine, 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 and don't apologize. I love ya.
You have been listening and lighting up your life with Rabbi Jenny. Join us next week for another session of love, light, and joy as Rabbi Jenny takes life to the next level. Are you ready? Rabbi Jenny says the time is now.
The opinions expressed